Hey everybody, want to Weasel here about 3:30 a.m. Friday, December 6th. Think I may have finally figured out some of the recording issues, the commentary still going old school there. That said, we just introduced Washbuckler, which I think I did in part 2 of the playthrough, but we're going to wing that, pretend it didn't happen, and come in here now actually take a look at his dark counterpart. Dark Washbuckler, of course, here in the U.S., I guess everywhere, EB Games, if you're Australia, overseas, game, whatever they call it. Basically GameStop exclusive. Dark Edition starter pack. Caught a lot of flack on that one. It's basically $20 more. You got Dark Editions of all the starter pack characters, but they threw in Dark Spyro, which I'll still refer to as Dark Mega Ram Spyro, just because that's what I think it should be. And Dark's Slobbertooth. I'm a big fan of the Earth elements. Having Slobbertooth coupled with Dark Slobbertooth, I get to take both upgrade paths. That right there is the $20. Then you got some other cool stuff in there. I'm still not quite sure where the that's a stupid idea on the Dark Edition starter pack came from, because personally I thought it was a pretty sweet setup, but that's just me. That said, the good news here, with all the dark characters, Blastzone, Washbuckler, Stealth Elf, Spyro, Slobbertooth, instant double of the characters, which means, like I said, get to take their other path or paths when applicable. That will be the case here with Washbuckler. And Dark Washbuckler, we can actually take, top path on the top end with Washbuckler, bottom path on the top end. It gets confusing when you say it, but once we get the names tied in, you'll follow suit. That said, Dark Washbuckler going to be essentially the same as Washbuckler. Slogan: 8 legs, no pegs. Background story: Dark Washbuckler was an orphan mermasquid who grew up on the roughest pirate ships in all of Skylanders. While most pirates were interested in pillaging, Washbuckler actually had other intentions. He wanted to do good deeds, help people out, not be cantankerous bad guys. As you might expect, this did not go over well with other pirate crews. They were always trying to sabotage and attack Washbuckler and his crew. He, of course, defended his crew countless times. This, of course, drew the attention of Master Eon. Master Eon invited him to become a Skylander. He accepted, and we all know the glorious proceedings following that. We're going to go ahead and back out of here. There's Dark Washbuckler. I think he looks pretty good in the game. Of course, he is water elements. Swaps his own ability. Of course, going to be climbing. You saw that in Chapter 1. But that's what he looks like jumping. Actually, I guess it's because of the black on the green and contrast a little better. Makes him a bit easier to see there. But this will be a nice deal. I'll begin with his primary attack, which is Sword Slash. You're going to see 34. I think you can eventually see something higher. The thing is, though, I mentioned with Washbuckler, his primary attack on the bottom end, I was like, wow, it's doing 60s. That's because we bought Octolash. I'd forgotten about that. So with Dark Washbuckler, when I press A, I'm going to go ahead and hold it down. As you can see, he's not slapping with the tentacles and doing 60 damage. That's because he doesn't have Octolash. However, he can rotate. That's a pretty menacing shot there. What I'm going to do now is unleash the fury on this dummy. You should see 50, 35, 25 as we roll through. That was actually a 35 25. That may be something from Octolash, upping that to 50 initially. There was one there, so anyway, you get the feel. That's basically what he's got. Jump, primary top end, and then primary bottom end. So fairly quick. You would honestly think he'd be a little bit slower than that. I mean, he's not like earth-shattering, zap, flame slinger, stealth elf fast, but I mean, it's not cumbersome. I'll put it that way. Interesting thing again, though, I had really hoped Dark Editions would have had like better attributes. Not the case. His max health 270. Just like, I guess I should go in there, and it's on the gamepad screen. It's just I can't show you that. There are ways I could. I just don't want to do that. We'll come in here. 270 on the max health, 43 on the speed, 24 armor, 8 critical hit, 25 elemental power. A couple of things to note there. Number one, glaringly, is he actually looks really good on that screen, and his sword's almost like polished or something. That said, though, if you think, oh, well, Washbuckler had better stats, he was level 2. Keep that in mind. That's why the max health was different. All the stats are the same. Elemental power, though, something kind of... I realize, it would have been complicated with all the, variants and whatnot, but Washbuckler's here. Dark Washbuckler's here. We still got 25 on the EP, no +7 or anything. We might take a look at the collection screen on this one if I get through it fast enough. We're going to back out here and actually go to upgrades now. Again, I'm assuming most people watching this video are either watching everything or you're just interested in Dark Washbuckler. That's why I'm doing this and not just throwing him in the mix with Washbuckler. Top end is where we're at. His primary attack is Sword Slash. Press Y to swing a bubbly cutlass at nearby enemies. First purchased upgrade is going to be Bubble Blaster. Press X to shoot a bubble that will trap an enemy for a short time. Second purchased upgrade is Blade Sail. Sword attacks do increased damage. Hold Y to charge the sword and release it to perform a dash attack. Again, that's kind of reminiscent Chop Chop type stuff. Dangerous Waters. This sounds pretty sweet. You basically get a piranha in the bubble. Press X to shoot a piranha-filled bubble at an enemy, warning these little fish are angry. Now you get to a point you have to pick a path. You can basically go with the sword or go with the bubble gun. The top one's going to be for the sword. It's called Cutlass Captain. It begins with Parley Popper. Popping bubbles with sword attacks will create a bubble shield that reduces damage and explodes when attacked. So essentially, you press X, you shot your bubble, you press Y, you hit it with your sword, you're encompassed in a bubble. I'd assume you'd be able to attack enemies through it. I don't know yet, but if an enemy were to hit you, it absorbs, I guess, some of the damage. We'll say they were like a mighty foe. Might absorb some percentile of their attack. More importantly, though, then it explodes and does damage to enemies. Follows that up, sticking to the sword. First Mate Cutlass. Sword attacks do even more damage than the most trusty First Mate a pirate could have. If you're not a fan of the sword, you want to pursue the bubblegum path, you've got Bubble Buccaneer. Marooned. Bubble attacks do increased damage. Hold X to charge the Bubble Blaster. Release to shoot 2 Mega Bubbles that can trap many enemies. That sounds pretty awesome. And then lastly, Captain of Piranha Bay. Piranhas do increased damage and they're more dangerous than your average piranha. Soul Gem. Again, you've got one for the top end, one for the bottom end, Swap Force characters. This one can be found in Twisty Tunnels. This one is called On Stormy Seas. Hold Y to charge Blade Sail even further. Release to summon a watery pirate ship that rams into enemies. Again, this is basically reminiscent of Call of the Narwhal with Chill. That said, what I am thinking is that you're probably going to have to charge it for quite some time, unless it's like rapidly, Blade Sail happens. But nonetheless, it seems interesting. And it's a nice complement to the bottom end here, which begins with Somersaulty. Press A to dash forward and roll over enemies with powerful tentacles. Again, you're looking at like 50, 35, 25, 35, 25, somewhere in there. Multiple damage, First purchased upgrade, Octolash. This thing apparently deals 60, based on what we saw with Washbuckler. Hold A to slap enemies with 2 tentacles. Next one is called Deep Skin. Health is increased. That's kind of strange. I don't know how you purchase a health increase. All the deep sea, seems like that should be armor. Anyway, all the deep sea treasure hunts have really paid off. We'll investigate that when we purchase it. Inkjet is our last purchased upgrade. Octolash now shoots ink that damages and temporarily causes enemies to have difficulty seeing. That sounds pretty cool. You get to a point now you have to pick if you want to actually go with like the tentacles or with the ink. If you choose the tentacles, you're going to do this top one, which is called Tentaculous Path. It begins with Tentacleaver. Hold A to slap enemies repeatedly. I'm thinking that'll speed it up as well. Sea Legs. Tentacles do increased damage, whip those enemies into shape. Again, Devo's Whip It is now in my head. Ink Trail, this is the Ink Artist path. Press A to leave behind a cloud of ink. I don't know if that's going to just slow enemies down, damage them, make them blind for temporary. We'll have to kind of investigate that one as well. And then we've got This Will Never Come Out. Again, props on the name on that one. Ink attacks do increased damage, so I guess that answers my previous question. They'll do damage. Now, we've got a soul gem on the bottom end, which is called Tentacle Carousel. It's also found in Twisty Tunnels. Press A rapidly to perform a spin attack that damages all nearby enemies. What we'll do now is come out of here. We're going to go into his quests. Same thing as Washbuckler, you know, pretty much generic across the board. Bad Guy Basher, defeat 1,000 enemies. Fruit Frontiersman, pretty simple, eat 15 fruits in story level. Flawless Challenger, complete a non-story mode level with full health. True Gladiator, win 10 PvP. Totally maxed out. Again, I'm a big fan of this one. Reach level 20 and purchase all upgrades for the Skylander. Now you get in the water specific. Again, this one I feel like it should just be generic, and you should have 2 elemental specifics and 1 primary for the character, just because this is the same for everyone. Costs 7,500 elemental bonus damage. Coming over, Extinguisher. Defeat a total of 25 fire golems. Keep that in mind when you spot a fire golem. Aficionado is next. Catch 25 fish with the fishing rod. And his personal quest is Sleep with the Fishes. Defeat 50 enemies with the fish in your bubbles. That, of course, would be the piranhas that you get with dangerous waters. Obviously, it's going to be easier if you take Bubble Buccaneer to pull that off. That said, as long as you can refrain from using the tentacles or the sword, shouldn't have any trouble there. That'll probably be one of the easier personal quests to complete. That said, we have pretty much covered everything. Again, I wish there was something I could show, like a heroic challenge or like a little solo deal. Currently, I don't have any unlocked. Again, as I've had all this trouble with the recording, my hope was I would have like Stink Bomb show up at stores, and I'd be able to go through Chapter 2 and not have to repeat it, because I know there's a sneak challenge in there. Probably going to go through Chapter 2 tomorrow, if all goes well. It's close to 4 a.m. I should probably go to bed. I have to be to work in a few hours. But that's that. I mean, again, got the heroics. There's really not a whole heck of a lot I can do there. We'll come into collection, just kind of pass some time. I gotta use these shoulder buttons here where the Skylanders have the Spyro's head. Again, note here we've got the 2 water element characters. We'll go ahead and click in here. Washbuckler, Dark Washbuckler, Dark Washbuckler Special. That's actually how he comes up on the screen, if anyone cares. Like I said, the deal there, you only have 25, so, you know, Dark Washbuckler won't count. If you just got the Dark Edition starter pack and you're curious about if Washbuckler, you know, would add 7 elemental power, you know, bumping it up to 32 or something, no. These 2 characters apparently register as one and the same in terms of elemental power. We've got all these, I just hadn't put them in, you know, with the exception of Freeze Blade and Punk Shock. So that said, I mean, that's pretty much it. Apparently we have to back out to pause it. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and just end this here to save some time. Next up, I guess the way I will structure this, we'll go with Ninja Stealth Elf, since she's from the Wii U console starter pack. Then we'll follow it up with Dark Stealth Elf, or Dark Ninja Stealth Elf, as I prefer to refer to her. Yes, then we'll finish out the Dark Edition, since we've knocked 3 of them out. We'll do Dark Slobbertooth and Slobbertooth, and then we'll do Dark Mega Ram Spyro, Mega Ram Spyro. Then I'll come in, we'll do, I guess, Volcanic Eruptor. And then I'll come in, we'll do the 2 swappers from the 3DS starter pack, Free Ranger and Rattleshake. We'll follow that up. I'll just start going down the line in terms of the swappers. No, actually, I guess we'll have Legendary Free Ranger in there. I'll do Rattleshake, then Legendary Free Ranger, then Legendary Night Shift, then Night Shift. we'll figure something out. It gets complicated. A lot of redundancy. Again, I wish there was like more action type stuff we could be doing right now. That said, I've got an error message on an upload that was going up right now. That's not a good sign. That said, I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Questions, comments you can ask here on YouTube. The blog is a better bet, the way things are structured now. You can get a hold of me on Twitter, whatever works for you. Make sure to check out the blog, oneofweezum.com. Tons of information there. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Again, can't stress this enough. Make sure you're subscribed. That'll keep you up with all the latest. I'll go ahead and quit rambling here. I might crank out a couple more tonight, and we will leave it at that. As always, thanks for watching. I will catch you back here next time.